everyone. Today is April 26, 2016 and my Brooklyn is 7 today. I cannot believe my Brooklyn is 7 today. And since I just started my channel not even a year ago, I think I started uploading in like September, I believe. I thought I would sit down today while I have some free time and tell you her birth story. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It's a little bit graphic in some points, as birth stories tend to be, so if you're kind of like grossed out by that kind of stuff, I want to stop watching or at least fast forward a little bit. If not, then I'm gonna just go ahead and start talking. We moved 3 days before she was born. On the 23rd of April, we had moved from our apartment to my mother-in-law's temporarily, where we were waiting for our new apartment to get painted and carpet and all that stuff. So I guess we didn't figure out like the move the right way or whatever. But anyway, we had moved and we had gone to Walmart the night before. I forget why. I think we just went to like get out of the house and all that stuff. So anyway, we're at Walmart and I went to the bathroom, as you do whenever you're like, you know, 19 years pregnant. And my mucus plug had broke and I told Irvin, and he immediately, this was like at maybe 8 at night or so, he immediately insisted I go to the hospital. He's like, no, go to the hospital right now, right now, right now. I'm like, dude, this is my 3rd kid. Like, I got this. I know I'm not in labor because I was having no pain. So I wasn't in labor and I knew I wasn't in labor. Anyway, his friends come over and his mom had a basement. He and his friends went down to the basement and they were playing video games and whatever. So I took my cousin, who was also living with us at the time. She lived with us for about 2 years or so. And she was there obviously with us. I took her to her boyfriend's house. She was gonna spend that night with him, and put Sarah to bed and went to bed myself. I got up around, no, Sarah got up around 4 a.m. and said she had to go to the bathroom. So I took her and I went too because duh, you know, I was at that point, it was like I said, 4 a.m. on the morning of the 26th. And my due date with her was the 28th. So I was like due basically. I went up, went to the bathroom, and I got back in bed. And I remember being really uncomfortable. Irvin was not in bed. I could actually hear him and his friends downstairs. Or maybe he was in bed. The first time I got up was around 2 when he wasn't in bed. He came to bed around 3. So at this point, he was in bed. So anyway, I'm laying in bed, and Sarah's laying with me, and he's laying across the room on her twin bed. I guess he didn't want to move her or whatever, and that was totally fine with me, trust me. Anyway, Sarah is laying next to me. He's over in Sarah's bed. I just remember being so uncomfortable. Like no matter how I turned, how I laid, I couldn't get comfortable. And then I wouldn't say it was pain, really, just like uncomfortableness. And then it would go away, start to fall asleep, and then it would come back. And it took me about an hour, from around like 4:20-ish to about like 5:30. It took me that long to realize I was in labor. I don't know why, but it took me that long to realize, oh crap, maybe I'm in labor. So I should also state that the night before, after we go home from Walmart, I watched Knocked Up because I love that movie. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should go and get in the bathtub because that's what she does in Knocked Up. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go and take a bath. And the second I touched that water, the water is supposed to help apparently with the pain, and it did not one bit. It made it so much worse. It was awful. So I got out of the water, and it's around 6 at this time. Sarah's fine, she's asleep. I tried texting my cousin who was gonna be in the room when Brooklyn was born, and I didn't get any reply from her, so I tried to wake Irvin up. Mind you, at this point, he'd only had about 3 hours sleep, so he was like really, really tired. And looking back on it, I can justify it as that. But in that moment, I was like, this jerk, he needs to wake up because I'm in a lot of pain right now. So I try to wake him up, and he kind of wakes up. He's like, okay, okay, okay. And he claims I did not tell him that I was in labor, but I know I did. So at this point, there was like no doubt that I was in labor. So I put on a clean top, and I put on some sweats, and I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe I'll let him sleep a little while longer because I don't think the baby's gonna be born like the second. So 6:30 rolls around, and I can't take the pain anymore, and I've been walking around the house and everything, and I threw a shoe at him to wake him up. And I'm like, I am in labor. You need to wake up now because I am in labor. And he finally wakes up and realizes, and I ask him to go outside to the dryer to get my jeans, and he comes back with them, and I'm like, no, forget it. I'm not putting them on. No way. And it's actually a good thing that I did not do this. So anyway, we wake up his mom and tell her what's going on, and we tell her that Sarah's laying in the bed, and I think my mother-in-law came and laid either with her or in her bed, and they were like, you know, a distance apart. Anyway, so at this point my contractions were about 3 to 4 minutes apart, so they'd gone from like 15 minutes to 3 minutes in less than 2 hours. So I knew she'd be there before 9 a.m. because of how fast it was going. Anyway, so I kept trying to call my cousin and text her, and I would get no response. So we finally decided to leave. It was right around 7:15, and we had to take a certain freeway to get to the hospital we were supposed to go to. We didn't make it to that hospital because as soon as we turned to get on the on-ramp, I felt her drop into my pelvis, and I'm like, okay, change of plans, we're just gonna go to this hospital that's closer. And speeding on the freeway is wrong. I know it's wrong, but whenever I looked over and saw he was only doing 65, I wanted to kill him because I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, I was in so much pain. I legitimately thought that I was going to have her in the car. Like, that's where it was. That's how I was. So I remember my best friend telling me that she liked when she was being fanned when she was in labor. And on my first two, like with Autumn, I had a modified induction. I was in very, very early labor when I went in for my induction. So this went ahead with the induction, and Sarah was a full-on induction because she was almost 2 weeks late. So I'd never had like a fully naturally occurring labor at this point. So again, like I was in like a different environment with them during that stage than I was this time. But I remember her saying that having someone fan her helped. So I rolled down the windows, and it was cold. It was like kind of like how it is today. For those of you who live in California, you know today it's like it rained, like rained last night. So today I think it's like 61 degrees right now, and that's California cold. So it was really cold for us that day. And so I tell him, he is not good with directions, so I tell him basically turn by turn directions on how to get there. And we get there, and I made him circle the parking lot. So I was having a contraction, and the wind from the window being down helped with the pain. So we park, and I have like 2 contractions walking across the parking lot, and it's not a very big parking lot. It's like, I'd say your average like Walmart sized parking lot. Not very big. And we get in, this is where things start to get interesting, I guess you could say. Up until now, it's like pretty normal. So we open, I did not know where the maternity entrance was. This is a hospital that the ER I've been in a million times and all of that. But the maternity ward, the only baby at that point I knew that was born there was my cousin that was supposed to be there when Brooklyn was born. And she was 20 at the time. And I was only 4 when she was born. So anyway, yeah, I did not know where I was going. So we go through the main entrance, and there's a security guard there, and he asked if we needed assistance. And I growled at him, and then Irvin said maternity, and he told us, I think it was left, right, left is how you get there, or yeah. And right as he made the left, my water broke. And I remember turning to Irvin and saying, either I'm peeing myself or my water broke. And it broke with the contraction. And then, so we made the left, we made the right, and right as we made the other left, a contraction hit, and I remember saying to him, I want the epidural. And he said, no, you don't want it, you can't have it, because I didn't really want it, I just wanted it for the moment. And I grabbed a hold of the chair in the lobby of the waiting area, and there was nobody in the waiting area. And I grabbed a hold of the chair that was right there, and I screamed, and I went from screaming to saying, oh my God, her head just came out. And he's like, what? And he was freaking out, running around, running like to the, I guess the nurse's station desk was right there, pushing a button, calling for help. And I'm just like standing there like in shock of what's going on, because nobody expects that to happen to them. I certainly didn't. And like, I remember the next contraction came, and I remember her shoulder, I don't even remember pushing with her. I remember her feeling like one of her shoulders come out, and so I have my hand in my pants trying to like hold on to her by her shoulder, like hold on to like this so she won't fall. And Irvin comes. At this point, like I think both of her shoulders are probably out, because I was holding on to her with both hands. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but Irvin said, you need to lay down. And of course, duh, I don't know why I didn't like register. Maybe I shouldn't be standing right now, but I was just in shock, like what the hell. So I lay down, and he, like, I guess pulls her up and delivers her knees down to her feet. And I remember him saying, help, help. And then like, we went from just the 3 of us in this little lobby area, which is, again, it's a lobby, it's small. There's maybe like 20 chairs, to being surrounded. The security guard was there. There were like 4 or 5 nurses show up. I think the on-call resident showed up. I'm not really sure, but it was just, we were just surrounded by people immediately, obviously. And I remember them calling out the time, and it was 7:58. And she couldn't have been more than a minute old, so that's what her certificate says. And I remember, what time is it? Get bands, and get me a gurney, get me blankets, and all this. And they put her on my chest, and they used my shirt to like wrap her in and like rub off everything from her. And then they grabbed blankets. And I distinctly remember a nurse saying, Mom's losing a lot of blood, we have to get out of here. And that scared me. Up until that point, I wasn't my focus. Whenever they said that, I immediately was like, whoa, this is serious. If they're saying that I'm losing too much blood, something is obviously going on. It turned out I was losing a lot of blood because I actually tore. That's why I was losing a lot of blood. But anyway, and Irvin's on the phone. I guess his mom called him, or he called his mom. I don't know who called who. But I remember he's holding little 2-minute-old Brooklyn in his arm. He's saying, yeah, she's here. She was just born. And his mom had to have called him to see how things were going, because I can't imagine, like, I'm laying on the floor bleeding and he's on the phone with his mom. So, I don't know. But anyway, they put me on a gurney, and he's holding Brooklyn. And the first picture taken of Brooklyn is on a gurney, and I'll have to find it, because if you look in the I think it's the right-hand corner, you can see the walkway and the window outside of the lobby. So anyway, they take us into a delivery room, and they put her under that baby bulb warmer thingy, And that's when they realized, oh, mom's bleeding because she has a tear. It was a 3rd-degree tear. So resident comes in and stitches me up. And while this is all going on, I'm hearing them say that the baby's not keeping her temp. She was having a really bad problem keeping her temp up, which was very scary to hear. And I'm nude at this point, so I'm shaking from being cold in this really sterile room, which of course has to be a sterile room. But the baby can't keep up her temp. I'm freaking out. And what ended up happening is she had to go to the NICU and put on preventive antibiotics just in case, because she was born on the friggin' floor. So who knows what the hell was on that floor, just so she wouldn't get any kind of infection. And I text my mom and my best friend, and my best friend actually was the first one there. She was with me from roughly, I want to say 10:30 a.m. till around like 7 that night. And mind you, at this point, she had an 8-month-old baby at home. So she, yeah, it was amazing that she was there. But I went back to his mom's house and picked up Vicky and picked up Sarah, and they all came. And every single person who came by, who would like come in the room, like a nurse or even the cafeteria staff, were like, oh, you're the mom that had the baby in the lobby. So yeah, apparently I'm the mom that had the baby in the lobby. So that's Brooklyn's birth story. I have not told it in such detail in a very long time, but yes, that's Brooklyn. That's the story of my unintentional, unassisted hospital birth. That is the story of Brooklyn's birth, and I'm going to attach at the end some pictures of Brooklyn throughout the years, or maybe depending on how long this video is, I might do a separate slideshow of videos. But I will attach, I have a picture of where she was born. It has like a big wet, like, you know, those wet floor signs. I will attach that at the end, or maybe I'll make it the thumbnail. I'm not sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story of Brooklyn's birth. I can't believe it was 7 years ago. It feels like it just happened, but I guess that's kind of how those things are. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.